Hey guys, welcome back to another WrestlingRumors.net Raw review. Tonight, sponsored by WrestlingRumors.net. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel. Make sure you're letting everybody know that the beautiful lady next to us right here, Sam Daly, is now on WrestlingRumors.net, as am I, Adam Daly. Make sure that you are subscribing, sharing. Guys, just get the word out, please. We're going to do a quick Raw review. We're going to do a little redo here because we have some technical difficulties, so we're going to make this a little shorter and sweet. Triple H opened the show today in Cincinnati, Raw, May 11th, 2015, by saying Daddy's home. But let's start the show off by saying everybody from WrestlingRumors.net, all of the beautiful women out there, all of you mothers, Happy Mother's Day.
Happy Mother's Day.
Daddy can wait till next week. Happy Mother's Day, everybody. I have a beautiful mother sitting next to me right here. So, listen, guys, Happy Mother's Day to all the women out there. There are women wrestling fans, too. Now, we'll get back to Triple H being home in a minute. The big story of the night is Daniel Bryan's injury, his status. Sam, talk to us about it first.
It's just very sad. It was very reminiscent of the Edge speech that he gave right before he retired completely, and it was just very depressing. All the stories going into Raw tonight were that he was cleared to wrestle, he was going to have a match on Sunday. You know, I thought he was coming back. It was just, you know, my theory was right, and they were just keeping him off the books for a couple weeks to help him recuperate, and then he'd be back fine. And now this is kind of a bummer. This makes me think that there's something really wrong with his health.
I agree, and I'm more concerned about Daniel Bryan than I am the Intercontinental title. Like, granted, you know, from a business standpoint, the Intercontinental title, we needed something to happen with that because, you know, the show must go on, and that's not a slight on Daniel Bryan, but the show must go on, and something needed to happen with the title. So I'm glad we got that resolution now.
I'm not. If they knew from the beginning that there was something worse going on with his health, they should have already taken the title from him. They should have already addressed this. It shouldn't have been dragged on this long.
I agree. Well, let me ask.
Question, is he going to come back? Is he not? They should have already handled this, addressed the problem with the people, and just taken the belt off of him. I think dragging it out this far and then him just handing it over like that from out of nowhere was just insane to me.
Well, I think part of it though too is let's cut kayfabe a minute and call a spade a spade. I mean, Daniel Bryan suffered a concussion, and you know, whether that was a work or not, I mean, he was off TV for 30 days with all the lawsuits they have going on right now. Of course, they were going to keep him off and not mention that it was a concussion. If in fact he did, and I do think that he had a concussion, and that's why he was shelved for 30 days. Now, I think during that 30-day time period, they were going to wait to see if his health improved, because that was the thing. There's a roller coaster ride where it's improving, it's declining, you know. So knowing that it's been on a constant decline a little bit, I think that gave them an extra month to kind of figure out what was going on. And then they can move forward from there. Now, I do think it was very sly, and this is where I think WWE is starting to work the dirt sheets a little bit because, you know, this is one where everybody was in that, you know, Daniel Bryan's coming back at Payback and he's going to wrestle. You know, even on the pre-show we were talking, how is he going to fit in because that'll mess up Barrett and Neville. You know, Sheamus and Ziggler that could mess up. So, in a way, I hate to say this, but I think for both Daniel Bryan and WWE, what happened tonight is better for everybody.
Yes,
it is
best all around.
And let me ask your opinion. Now that we know that he is on Tough Enough as you know, a trainer, or as whatever his role is going to be on there, does this put into question Daniel Bryan's long-term health for you?
I question his health because they just haven't told us anything. I mean, what we were assuming is that it was from a concussion because he was out for 30 days and then he was cleared. Now he's not cleared, and I'm just worried about his health. That's as long as he's healthy, and this Tough Enough, him being on Tough Enough, is a really good way to keep him in the spotlight and keep him relevant without him actually having to compete.
Right.
So that way he does have time to recuperate and get better and get the surgery, but still be socially relevant.
Right.
You know.
Right. And I think the big thing for me is that at the end of the day, it's hard watching a guy, you know, cut. And it's a shoot. I mean, it's a worked shoot, but it's hard to see a guy where you know he's fighting back emotions. You know, Daniel Bryan loves the business. He loves performing in front of people. He is a company guy, a wrestling guy, a fan guy. I mean, he's everything that you could want in a superstar. And he is the face of the WWE. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's everyone, you know, it's Cena and him, but let's face it, right now people are paying to see Daniel Bryan, or not, you know, right now not paying to see Daniel Bryan because he's not there. I think this is it could be a huge setback for WWE, but I do think that they have enough stars budding that that I'm not going to say we wouldn't notice it.
They have such a huge roster right now. They should be able to make do.
I'm the type of guy that I would rather see his health his health be first and foremost. You know, I don't want to see him rush back to the ring again. I don't want him to go through any surgeries he doesn't want to go through just to get back in the ring. If financially he's stable, if mentally he's okay with, you know, being able to walk away or whatever, I would rather see a Daniel Bryan, you know, and I always make the joke about when Sidney Crosby took a couple really bad concussions and you know, to his neck about 5 years ago. I said, you know, I'd rather him retire than ever see him on the ice again, because I don't want to see him laying on the ice. To the point where, you know, I'm a fan, but at the same time, I'm a human. Like, you know what I mean? I don't want to see these guys really. And with Bryan now, it's to the point where I'm afraid that we may see him laying in the ring. You know, what do you think?
Well, I just think it's one of those where it's definitely nothing career-ending that we know of right now, like Edge's was. But I mean, it's got that potential.
We know of, that's the thing.
I just hope that it's not, and he gets healthy and returns
as
soon as possible.
I mean, we're talking two big Daniel Bryan fans here, so obviously the quicker he comes back, the better. And Sam, real quick, what do you think? If it was up to you, yay or nay, does Daniel Bryan, if WWE goes to him and says you have to have this surgery or it's your career, does he have the surgery?
No, I think Daniel Bryan's one of the ones where he sticks to what he believes in. And I'm pretty sure that if they told him one way or the other, he's going to tell them to go shove it somewhere.
Yeah, I think so too. I think Daniel Bryan, and people don't understand guys like that, but listen, when you have a moral base to stick to, if it's something he doesn't want to do because he feels a different path of wellness is better for him, who are we to judge? You know, and ultimately his health and happiness is, I think, what's best, you know, for all parties. So then that way WWE can move on, us as fans can move on. And right now we know we're still at a stalemate, but at least we have more answers now than what we did going in. Now, going back to Daddy being home real quick. Daddy came home, Triple H making his triumphant return to, even though he's kind of been around, but so he comes out, basically lays out Ambrose versus J&J Security, Kane versus Roman Reigns, Orton versus Seth Rollins towards the end. So real quick, we had Ambrose go over J&J. Kane and Rollins was basically just a brawl on the outside. Reigns went over. Kane and Reigns, I'm sorry. Then Orton and Rollins basically just ended up being nothing more than a brawl. You know, J&J Security comes out.
Everybody that's in the match
Reigns comes out. Orton comes out. The popcorn guy comes out. I think JR even came out of the crowd real quick. Sign guy I think was in the ring. So did this do anything for you to further your interest in the main event? Did it kind of lose any interest? You know, because it seemed to me that this was. You know, all the main event segments is dealing with the title, the World Heavyweight Championship, didn't really fit for me this week. You know, I felt like the title match lost some steam this week, or stayed stagnant. I don't feel like it lured me in for a go-home show.
It stayed stagnant for me. It didn't do anything bad for it, but it didn't also help anything for it. It was just one of those, it was a throwaway week. Like last week they added Dean Ambrose, so it actually meant something. You know, actually something was added. They created more buzz to it. This week they didn't do any of that. So,
real quick, Elimination Chamber coming back on May 31st. Huge pay-per-view. Love the idea. I'm glad it's not the month before WrestleMania anymore either. Sam, what do you think?
I'm ecstatic. That was my favorite pay-per-view of the year. I mean, everyone knows WrestleMania is great and SummerSlam's great. But my favorite match is the Elimination Chamber. I love the blood. I love the gore. I love the breaking of
But you're not going to have that. It's PG.
I better have that. It's the fucking Elimination Chamber. There better be blood and gore. That's kind of the point.
Let me ask this question, though. Do you think the timing is right for a match like this when not only do you have multiple superstars that are hurt right now,
no, but
you have multiple
lawsuits
against you for concussions? Like, the timing in this is somewhat questionable.
It's funny that all those lawsuits are wrapping up, and now they're coming out with this pay-per-view.
Well,
so,
and not only that, now we're also having 3 pay-per-views in a span of 7 weeks.
Yeah, it's a lot.
You know, if you include King of the Ring, which was like a little mini, I mean, that's like 4 and 7, 8 weeks. That's a lot, guys. I mean, that's a lot to cram in. And granted, I mean, you know, as wrestling fans, it's great for us, but from a booking standpoint, it can't be easy. You know, it can't be easy. I'm calling this Cosplay mania because for a company that really hates cosplayers and fans being very enthusiastic about Legends of Old, we had Curtis Axel as Axelmania. We have Damian Sandow as Macho Mandow. Then we have the Ascension, basically Legion of Doom, and then we have PTP as DX. We have Dolph Ziggler as Motley Crue tonight. What was going on?
I don't know. I think they took the fact that fans got so upset that they made cosplayers change out of their outfits that now they're forcing their wrestlers to cosplay other wrestlers. I have no idea where they're going with this.
I think
it's getting a little ridiculous. You know, one person dressing up as an old wrestler is one thing. Two, okay. But now you have Ascension that just everyone complains is knockoffs of Legion of Doom. Then you have Axel dressing up as Hulk. Now you have Miz dressing up as a Macho Man. And
or Sandow.
Sandow is dressing up as Macho Man. Ziggler's wearing guy liner just for no reason.
The big question, I think, is does this do anything for Damian Sandow?
No, nothing at all. It sets him back. Because the whole point of him breaking away from Miz was the fact that he was supposed to be his own character now. He wasn't supposed to be this, what was it, stunt double gimmick. Right. And now he's doing it all over again.
He's getting repackaged almost the same as what he was before he was the stunt double. You know,
he came out with that speech and was like, you know, I was this Sandow, and I was LeBron Sandow, and I was Lincoln Sandow, and I was Lumber Sandow.
And so now we're getting...
And he's like, I'm never doing that again. Now I'm just Sandow. And
now
2
we're getting
weeks later, he's Macho Man Sandow.
Yeah, and we're getting the Mega Powers 2.0, which is really like the Mega Powers negative 2.0, versus the Legion of Doom negative 2.0. Mm-hmm. One thing I'll say is this: my only 2 gripes. My biggest gripe with it is Sandow is if you're trying to break him off into a big time single star, this still pigeonholes him.
Yeah.
2, Curtis Axel as the son of the late great Kurt Hennig, Mr. Perfect. No member of the Heenan family would ever adorn the red and yellow of Hulkamania. Yeah. So, and look, I love Curtis Axel. I love Curtis Axel, but come on. Your dad, that's everything that the Heenan family was against was the red and yellow. Alright, Sam, real quick. Eric Rowan obviously being back in with Luke Harper, not necessarily the Wyatt family, squashed Fandango in 37 seconds. Your thoughts?
I think they need to do something different with Fandango. They're wasting his talent. He's a great talent, great in-ring, great on the mic, great everything, and he's just being wasted in this Fandango gimmick getting squashed in 30 seconds.
All right, for Sunday's Payback, Barrett and Neville is official, and Sheamus and Ziggler is official. What match are you looking more forward to?
Neville Barrett.
Neville's
matches have been the matches of the night for like the past month.
Yeah,
every event for the past month, Neville matches have been the match of the night. So I'm definitely looking forward to that match.
I am too. It's kind of a toss-up because I think Sheamus and Ziggler is going to be awesome. I think we need to see the rubber match though between Neville. And you're right, Neville. Every match Neville has is exciting. Mm-hmm. Every single match, and for how much we worry.
This match against Cena tonight was the best match of the night.
It was the best segment of the night,
mm-hmm.
Absolutely. And guys, the John Cena Invitational again. You know, whether you're Cena, whether you hate him, love him. I was never a fan for the longest time. I mean, he grew on me really in the past year or two, and it's mostly out of respect for what he's doing for the business now. Mm-hmm. He's had the most consistently entertaining segments on Raw, I would say, since getting the United States Championship.
Definitely.
What do you think? You know, obviously, he was in there with Neville. Rusev comes in and interferes. What happens now with Rusev, Lana, and Cena going forward before we start to wrap this up?
I have no idea. I just know that he's not going over at the pay-per-view, so he's going to lose. They're obviously breaking away from Lana, so that's either going to happen at the pay-per-view or the major seeds for that are going to be planted at the pay-per-view and maybe happen on Raw or maybe a month from now. But something's definitely happened between Rusev and Lana at this pay-per-view.
Yeah, and we'll talk all about that on the Payback preview show on WrestlingRumors.net come Sunday at 6 o'clock. Sam, anything else that you wanted to pull out of Raw real quick? I'm looking down the line. I mean, Bray Wyatt again with Ryback. Ryback doesn't do it for me, guys. I mean, I'm sorry. And it's not Bray. It's not Bray with this.
Bray promos are just they're 100% on point. It's just Ryback's just not getting me into it. Just the fact that it's Ryback. I'm not even blaming him as a wrestler. Just the idea of Ryback being in this match has got me out of it. So.
All right. So real quick, spot of the night.
Neville versus Cena.
Same here. And letter grade this week's Raw.
I'll give it a B.
A B?
B.
I'll give it a C+. A C+, because I feel like
hard to please.
I'm a little bit harder to please. Yeah, I'm gonna give it a C+.
This Raw wasn't bad, but it wasn't.
But see, again, though, we're
good.
comparing it
That's
the next. We're comparing it to last week's Raw, which was great. So it kind of just didn't flow as well.
It wasn't bad. It just wasn't anything extraordinary.
But it's back to it's not bad, but it's not. Last week everyone was raving about it. This week it wasn't bad, but that's not the continuity, the consistency that a company wants, especially during sweeps month.
Definitely.
All right, so wrapping it up real quick, guys. Big announcement. Obviously, we do this every week. It's a big Raw review show. Next week, huge special guest. David Harrow from Pro Wrestling Report is going to be live with us. It's going to be an enormous deal. Mr. Harrow and ourselves will be able to pick his brain. He'll be able to pick our brains. I'm sure we're going to have a blast with it. Guys, we're really, really looking forward to him. I can't wait to sit down with him. I know he has a huge following. He's got a great wrestling mind. It's going to be fun to really pick his brain and see, what he thought of not only Payback but Raw, but probably pick his brain about, NXT TakeOver next week too. Sam, anything else that we got before we sign off?
No, just hope you check in for that, because that's definitely going to be
It's
something
going to be a big
you're
week.
not going to want to miss.
It's going to be a big week next week, guys. Make sure you're checking out WrestlingRumors.net all week long. Please subscribe to this very YouTube channel. Follow the beautiful Sam Daly at LadyNexus13 on Twitter. Follow me on Twitter at AdamDaly13. And really follow the star of the show at LadyNexus13. WrestlingRumors.net on Twitter is at WrestleRumors. And guys, please make sure you're checking out all of our content all week long. We'll have some more stuff up for you. Until next time, again, happy Mother's Day. See you next.